Well, needless to say that my first experiment with 3D printing didn't come out particularly well, as you can see, and as I covered in the last video. Now, one of the things I've done is I've gone back to my original file, so I've gone back to Blender, looked at the object, looked at the exported STL file, loaded that into Repetier, and when I check the settings for the slicer, it does say to use honeycomb and infill. So that makes me think that there was something I got wrong. And I think I might have realised it's the fan. I didn't start the fan on the previous print. I've started it now. So I had the extruder up to temperature, I had the bed up to 20 degrees, even though I might not need that, but the fan wasn't on. So it makes me think that perhaps the print head was getting too hot and wasn't cooling, in which case it was the plastic was all kind of bunching up in some way or coagulating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try doing that test print again, but making sure that everything's on this time. So we've got, if we go into tools and then we go into heat, and then we've got our bed, so we're going to make that 20 degrees, 20, and then we're going to change the extruder and we're going to make that 200 again. There we go. Go back. And then in terms of we'll change the light, change it to red this time, and go home, sorry, back, set, fan, so that at the moment it's on 125, so that's setting it to 255, so it's amazingly quiet. You can hear it, but it's not too bad. I don't know if the microphone's picking that up, but I'm gonna leave it on 255, just to see what happens, even though it was on 125 earlier, just to see what will happen. So click back, and then we go into, so yeah, we can see that the bed is up to temperature, 20 degrees. The print head is almost there already. It's so quick, it's amazing. 200, there you go. And the fan is on 255. So we'll see what happens, because it may help. If it's cooling it more quickly, it may stop to help the coagulation. That's what I'm hoping. So click on print, and then click on 3D Mod UK, my folder. Click on cone, my first project, second print, and then click on cone, and then click on confirm. Now, before I click on confirm, I'm going to set the time lapse up again, so we can actually see this print in a lot shorter time than it would actually take. But in fact, let me just press confirm now. So this is going to take, it doesn't say how long it's going to take, but it's starting to go now. We'll just watch it for the moment. So you can see this is where it got me last time, because it does start to create a base, but it's like pulling it around. You can see it's all tangling up, which is a little bit, it's worse than last time, and it's not adhering to the bed for some reason. So that doesn't look at all promising. You can see it a little bit better from that angle. So is that cooling it too quickly? So what I'm going to do, because this obviously is not going to go anywhere, I'm going to click option, and then I'm going to click stop. Stop print, confirm. So I've stopped it, so it should end in a second, one would expect. Yes, it does. Okay, so it's gone to the home position, so we can see that we've got all of this tangled up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into tools, I'm going to go into move, and then we're going to, I'm going to raise the height of the extruder so I can clean this print head. So that makes me think that perhaps it was cooling it too quickly. Ouch, that's hot. I suppose it would be if it's 200 degrees. So that's all out of the way now. So yeah, that makes me think that maybe the fan is too high and it's cooling it too quickly because it wasn't able to stick to the bed, perhaps. And that's what came out. So we go back and we're going to go into set, fan, and we're going to set it to 125 because PLA, as I understand, does need cooling. So therefore, and that's what I used for the test cube as well, 125. So let's go back again, back. Actually, one of the other things I noticed was with the test cube is that the bed was up to 80 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into tools and heat, and I'm going to change the bed to 80 degrees. And then I'm going to change the extruder. Now the extruder's 200 and it's getting up to temperature now, so that's fine. So I'll just wait for those to get up to temperature. The bed will take a moment longer. The extruder hasn't got up to temperature yet. That's interesting. Okay, click on tools, heat, extruder. Okay, just waiting. Oh, there we go. So yeah, so it's maybe I just needed to. That was interesting actually because maybe I needed to give it. Maybe I needed to give it a setting, even though the setting was already there, in order to give it a kick, in order to achieve that setting. So I guess that's just an anomaly. But not too far off. So the extruder gets up to temperature really quickly. Bed takes a little bit longer. But I'm hoping that because it obviously had problems sticking to the bed, that if the bed's warmer, then the plastic would stick to it more easily. So when I say plastic, I mean PLA. Just waiting. 66 now, just a little bit further to go. 68. 71. 74. Even though it does take a little bit longer than the print head, it's still pretty quick. 79, almost there. And there you go. So let's try this again. So I'm going to click on print. I'm going to click on 3D Module K, click on my cone, click on cone, and then click confirm. And again, we'll just check. So this is interesting. When it gets up to temperature, there's one thing I notice. It seems to leak a little bit or weep. I don't know whether that's because the print head is a little bit too high in temperature. I'm going to have to look into that. But I'm just going to quickly get rid of that and then click on confirm, and we'll just watch it for a moment just to see if it gets going properly. So it's slightly better, I think, because at least it is adhering to the surface this time. Now the fan has stopped for some reason. I don't know why the fan has stopped. Maybe that's because somewhere in the settings, of the print file, maybe the fan is not set. So the fan, okay, so what I've done is I've gone into the options of more, gone into fan, and then I set 125, and we can see now the fan is spinning. So I do think it needs the fan. So here we can see it's actually drawing a lattice, and that will give the internals, or give the cone internal structure, which then the sides can adhere to. So this definitely looks a lot better than the last print, and that's probably because the bed is a lot hotter in order to be able to adhere to it. So that's interesting for note actually. I'll have to remember that for future projects. So 80 seems to be the best option. I'll also have to note that when creating a file in Repetio, I need to make sure that the fan is on, because there seems to be some kind of override. But yeah, that's looking much better now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to time lapse so that we don't have to sit here for the whole 15 minutes that this is going to take, and then we'll see how this one comes out. Well, I have to say, it's definitely a cone. It's not as smooth as the test cube was. As we can see, it's just want to make sure it's not too hot. Let's bring the bed over a little bit. So we go into back, 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 tools, move, and then bring the bed over. So it's much better this time, so that's one good thing. So it must have been a combination of the fan and the bed temperature that helped it adhere to the bed, helped it cool better so it didn't overheat and become coagulated. So it's definitely a cone, that's good, I'm very pleased about that. It's not as smooth though. So when we look at the test cube that was printed by Artillery, it was much smoother, and I don't know why that is. I'll have to look into that, but again, it's all about finding these things out for myself, one small step at a time. To go from this to this is a much better improvement, and you know, it's quite a leap forward. So hopefully the next version will be even smoother up the edges, and that way it'll give me a better insight into the settings of the machine and what the machine requires really to be able to produce a good test print. So hope you found this interesting. I certainly have, and I'll be back for another video very soon. Thank you for watching.